Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay, so today, a couple different topics. One is why I stopped meditating. If you look into what happened to Tibet, that's why I quit meditating. I'm like, if this is what happens to a community that's doing all these high vibrational meditations and whatever else every single day for hours a day and whatever else, and that's the result. I don't think that's the way to do it. And that's when I started really asking questions about Buddhism and Taoism and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I don't think this is it. Don't think this is it. I think that it's another brain trap to keep people more complacent in their lives rather than doing anything to change their lives, to advocate for their own well being as well as their offspring's own well being. It's a numbing out, and they took, there were no women obviously allowed up there, which is red flag number one. So, on that particular note, even the natives know that women are inherently more spiritual than men are. It's just a common fact. Men have to work really hard to get spiritual. Okay. So when women are locked out of that and forced into the action roles, which is patriarchy, everybody has to be doing all the things. Okay. That's patriarchy. there's no sacred feminine way of living. You're a slave or you're a master, and that's it, and that's all in patriarchy. I don't care. You can argue all day about this. It's slave master narrative. Okay, you're either slaving or you're the master. There's no like, oh, well, I beat the system, so blah blah blah. No, you're partaking in the system. If you're not partaking in the system, you're out in a jungle somewhere. So the reason why it doesn't serve humanity is because it's constantly asking you to empty out your vessel. Constantly asking you to empty out your vessel. And when you're unconscious about what's happening in that process of emptying out your vessel, do you know what happens? Somebody else who knows how the hell this works is coming in to fill your vessel for you. Okay. So you want to be in your vessel. You want to be embodied in your vessel. You don't want to empty everything out. Okay. So when you get the meditating crew, we're going to, meditate on world peace and whatever else. And it's just, do you think that's creating actual world peace? Do you think it's more of like a thoughts and prayers thing? Do you think emptying your vessel is going to create peace on earth? Do you think getting a hit of DMT is gonna bring peace on earth? See, it's taking the I'm powerless, but I'm gonna pretend like I'm not stance. Okay, you're not powerless, but you are, again, in a system that has a history of not doing its own community any sort of service at all. It's a facade, it's an illusion. Nothing is good, nothing is coming out of that that's going to say, hey, I'm gonna, and again, it's not just spirituality that you need to address to help create peace on earth. And that's the other thing too, is like we're so segmented as beings, like we're so dissected as individuals, we can't see how any of this bleeds in together. That's why I don't like the chakras either. They're supposed to be all over your body. You're supposed to be like one walking tie-dye of cosmic aura colors. You're supposed to be that. You're not supposed to be tink, 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 tink. Okay? That's not. I missed a few tinks, but that's fine. The construct is not supposed to be cookie cuttered. It is supposed to be, I have a lot of fire or air or earth or water flowing through my system, and so I need to be more this color, that color, in this area, in that area, and whatever else. You are supposed to be that. You're, again, with the cookie cutter nonsense, you're literally cutting off your authenticity. Anytime you engage in religious narrative, it is cookie cutter. Boom, this is how you have to be in the world. If you are not this way in the world, you are unacceptable as a human being. Can't imagine why there's so many men in our streets right now wanting to burn the fucking village down. Can't imagine. Anyway, but it's all women's fault. If he would have just had a mother or a sister that loved him, he wouldn't have done that. Okay, so again, see how it's personal responsibility totally ripped off the person, and then whoever the system needs to target gets the blame for the shitty behavior of a few citizens. They get targeted because their sons and their brothers were rejected by them, so that's why they're doing this. Nothing to do with some sort of paid or unpaid shill army out there collecting red pill content to feed them. No, not. It's totally not that. No, totally not that. So when you have a massive approval rating by the authorities or the hierarchy, that's when your red flags need to go up, your alarm bells need to sound, the sirens and the flashing red lights when it's by the massive amounts of population. Okay. And if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're doing, and then bad things are going to happen. So, and we have a history. We already have a history of what happens when you sit up on a freaking mountain and you meditate 24/7 and yada yada yada. Your town and your country gets taken over. So, what are you doing? Stop it. Clearly, it is not, it's not working. And the reason why people love it so much is because my anxiety and stress went away. Did it? Because if you look at the rate of meditation coming into the U.S. in a parallel form with the rate of anxiety and depression and panic attacks, they kind of correlate. Might want to look that up. Just saying. Okay. This is all why I stopped meditating. I'm like, ooh, that's not a good movement, children. It's not a good movement. I am sure it is benefiting everybody in the hierarchy right now, but it's not helping us. I know far too many people who are aiming at becoming professional meditators, and they are not calm people. They pretend to be in certain groups, but then when they're one-on-one or in specific safe groups, if you will, they are not like that. And it's very peculiar to have to watch the mask come off and then be put back on, come off and put back on, okay, so Again, the facade that you have to put on when you are part of the meditation community is, again, toxic spirituality. It's toxic. Just like there's toxic everything else. Okay. Everything has toxicity points to them, and the meditation community is definitely one of them. And we need to be a little bit more vigilant about that. Yes, if you're gonna have you need to prep for something, or you need to having that quiet time, that sit down and maybe write a few things down on a piece of paper to get that off your chest, absolutely. But imagining all your problems just going away because you told the clouds to take them isn't really a solution to anything. And people say, oh, the solution will eventually come. Does it? Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure the solution came in the form of upping a dosage of anti-anxiety prescription medication. Pretty sure that's how that solution came, friends. Okay, we need to start paying attention to the correlation. Correlation is not causation. Okay, fine. Up your anxiety meds. Okay. Conversation over. Please don't. I mean, why? Why would we ever conceive of anything that might help humanity, actually help you? Why would we conceive of such a thing? Why would that ever come onto our plate? Why would it be a thing? Because the entire system is held up by people who need help. The whole system is held up by people who need help because they're less than, because they're not healthy, because they're doing it all wrong, because blah, 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 blah. That's how the system works. If you don't have people in need who cannot fend for themselves, who have no personal autonomy, then this system fails. So if we can keep as many people helpless, on their knees, praying, meditating, whatever, as long as they just sit there and be quiet, we'll be fine. It didn't work out well for Tibet. It didn't work out well at all. So how the fuck anybody's figuring that this is going to save humanity right now? I have no proof behind that. I have no proof. If we just meditate into the new earth, it'll be fine. I don't think the overlords disagree with you on that for very specific reasons. Because if you just put your head further in the sand, you might really be able to smell some sand. I don't know. But that's what meditation right now feels like. It's just putting your face in the sand. So rather than that, what I try to do is, again, getting your thoughts out of your system. So write it down on a piece of paper. That always helps. It always helps. I know there's people out there, I hate fucking lists. I get it. Lists and I have a love-hate relationship as well. It's sometimes I need it. Sometimes I'm like, and sometimes I'm like, if I don't get this out of my, brain, it's going to keep blocking my way forward today. So pick your lane and explore in it. And if you need to change lanes, just remember, put your blinker on, okay? Check for motorcyclists, all that good stuff, and then switch lanes, okay? But when we can start reflecting on things rather than just putting them off, then putting them out, shoving them off the table and creating a mess on the floor, right? We're just clearing our brain so the rest of our system gets whatever. Think of your brain as the table, okay? And you're like, I'm just fuck this thought shit. And so just imagine all of this, the clutter that's in your brain falling into your body, falling onto your shoulders, ooh, into your chest, down the rib, you know. Okay, so now you've cleared this space, but you've made a mess down here. Okay, you made a mess. You made a mess. So now that you have a clean table, you can do your artwork and whatever else and all that other stuff, which you're also going to have to clean up after. So swiping the table again is, okay. So, and energetically, that is what happens, by the way. That's what happens energetically is. And that's how you get the psychosis. That is high vibe only, good vibe only. And if you just think positive thoughts, if you just have positive thoughts 24/7, everything will be fine. You can put yourself into any state you want. That's the beauty of being alive. You can put yourself into any state you want. I'm not denying that. I'm not saying that it's not a good idea in some scenarios to say, okay, this is a really shitty situation. How can I see how this is playing out for me? How can I say to myself, okay, even though it's a shitty situation, how do I move forward in the best way possible for myself and those people around me? How do I move forward through this where I learn from the experience, where I experience the growth pattern rather than the descent into madness or addiction or self-harm in any other way, whatever it might be, right? How do I get through this without completely self-destructing? How do I proceed with life even though grief, pain, anxiety, whatever it is taking over? How do I do that? Is it by numbing out? By meditating through a process that's supposed to be felt? It's not supposed to be up here. It's supposed to be in here. In order to heal, you have to feel. What it, never ending story. It has to hurt if it's to heal. It has to. It has to do that. That's part of the process. The pain is there as a signifier. It's not for you to avoid the fuck out of it. It's for you to sit there with it and say, what did you have to teach me? There is a lesson in this because pain showed up. It's just going to bleed into my next video. Pain showed up for a reason. Why am I abandoning that reason? Why is everybody telling me to numb it out, to shift my perspective, to stop feeling bad and change it to something good? Okay, so when we sit with something that's painful, like, you know, Nazi Germany or slavery or whatever the heck it is, when we can sit with it for just a little while, not to the point of like driving ourselves insane, to the point where we comprehend why it showed up, how it showed up, and how do we move forward so that way we learn the lesson and don't repeat the energetic pattern that's on a loop. Okay, that's the whole reason why pain shows up. Hey, did you want to repeat this? This is like the devil in the tarot. To me, this is how I interpret the devil. The devil is holding up the torch. Did you want to look at this? Did you want to look at this pain? Did you want to look at this addiction? Did you want to look at what's really hurting your life right now? Because until you do, until you sit with it, until you comprehend how this keeps showing up in your environment, you're not getting through the gate. The devil's just a gatekeeper. If you can't sit with it, if you cannot come to a internal process that, you know, keeps you on this loop, on this pattern, if you can't come to that, you're not getting through to the other side. This is why people are like, oh, the other earth. No, it's always been here. The choice has always been here. This is not anything new. This is old as fuck, and they've just hijacked the narrative, and now we're going to hijack it back. So the devil is holding up the torch. Do you want to repeat 1930s Germany? Do you want to repeat all the horrible, wretched, dingusy, systematic crap narratives that, you know, patriarchy has put in place? Did you want to repeat that, or do you want to get through the gate? Do you want to cross over? Do you want to go through? Do you want to go over the bridge? Okay, and it's not to die physically. It is to get to a different space, spiritually, emotionally, sometimes physically. Some of us might move, socially, sexually, financially, spiritually, are different way of living entirely. And I comprehend how that can be really difficult for people to comprehend and get a grasp on. Like, what the fuck are you even talking about, lady? Okay, if you would have asked me this, like, even 6 months ago, I'd have been like, So, sorry, the kitty cat, she's up in the tree. Are you finished, girl? Okay. So when you're perceiving all of this stuff and you're burying your head in the sand, just remember that if you can't look at it, you're not gonna get to the leap part of it. Okay, so, and some people need to stay here. Some people, you know, they have this is a multi-dimensional fractal ecosystem where things are shifting and shaking still over here, and so the shift over is going to be different for everybody, and different timelines, different, and it's not like levels or one up or whatever, because sometimes there's shit that needs to be taken care of, blah 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 blah, in every fractal multi-dimensional ecosystem. Okay, so it's not that, oh, this is more advanced, it's just, this is my purpose over here, and so I'm gonna stay where my purpose is, and that's fine. But what I am saying is the reason why the meditation for me is so ineffective is because it doesn't hold a torch. It doesn't hold the torch up. It doesn't ask me anything other than to completely numb out and envision some fantasy world that I could be bringing into reality, but because I'm so busy meditating on it, it's not happening. See? So I need the torch. I want the light to see, okay, see where this is being obstructed, your pathway forward, do something about it. What do you want to do about it? See this particular, I don't want to use the word addiction, fixation, obsession maybe? That's a devil energy. See this over here? Did you want to look at it, or did you want to get through the gate? And you notice on the devil card in a lot of like traditional decks, it's got a male and a female in chains. Oh. Ah. Okay. So we put our own perspective projecting onto that, what that could possibly mean. And that's the beauty of it, right? Art does that for us. It puts us in a state of like, oh, that's how I see the world. And so then we put this narrative on it that, oh, this is how everybody has to see the world. This is why I don't like the Rider-Waite, because like it's so cut and dry that there's no room for interpretation, and I don't appreciate it. It's very mechanistic, it's very patriarchal. Again, all the systems are going to have to be revamped or fall or whatever, even astrology. But when you have a narrative that's forced upon you without you being able to explore the different modalities in which that particular art piece could exist, that's kind of how you know there's a psyop going on. That's kind of how you know that the corruption is digging in its little tentacles and getting into all the cracks and crevices of humanity and going, okay, How else can we more split this better? And that's what's happening is we're going to take meditation and we're going to slap a thing on it, and then we're going to be like, okay, so how can we use this as a mechanism for not so good means? And it's just like an ostrich burying your head in the sand. And sometimes, if you are on a procedure that doesn't allow you to, boycott or, get out and protest or, just pull your pentacles back because there's certain mechanistic things that have to stay in place for you, that could be a good option. But the meditation needs to be on the people being protected and the people that are doing the thing being left out of the protection. And a lot of people get that confused. So just make sure your protection mechanism is solid and you know what you're doing with it. Okay. And that looks different, that feels different, and that behaves different for everybody. But making sure that, like, how do I put this without pissing a shit ton of people off? So there's a specific group of people that are pulling everybody's strings. Okay. Those are the people you leave out of the protection, because those are the people that are doing the big bad no-nos. I don't know how to put this. Okay. So leave the Steen of the Eps people off of, how about that? Okay. But everybody else, it doesn't matter. Even if they're, on the fence about what the heck is going on, everybody else needs to be put under the protection. Okay. Okay. I'm not one of those people that believes in NPCs. I'm not one of those people that believes that, like, there's a bunch of soulless civilians walking around. I don't believe in stuff like that. I believe that you can numb out and be overtaken to a certain extent, absolutely. But there is still something there inside of each human being that hasn't actively killed it via Diddy, Steen of the Eps procedures. If you have partaken in that, there's probably not much left. Okay. And that's what I'm aiming at here. So just, even though they will present as if they are completely dead inside, the narrative that they're running is just been parakeeted so often they can't perceive of anything else. They are like what is that? The Boy and the Heron. Go watch it. The Boy and the Heron. And that's what I mean when I say parakeet. Okay. So there's a lot of parakeets out there. Absolutely. But a lot of them have willingly given their, their narrative over to somebody else because they can't contain much of anything else in their system. And with that case would be a good, get some of this crap out of your system meditation. But for those people who have been doing it for a long time, there's an advancement that can happen. There's a leap forward that you don't want to get stuck in the DMT modality too much. Okay, so just careful. Okay, just be careful. Yeah, and there's a couple videos on the interwebs, and I don't really want to reference them because I don't want to have people going after them, but where they described that, bad things were happening in the men only places. So we just need to be clear on our energy. We need to be clear on its intent. We need to clear out the pathway forward. And it's not, I'm not talking about clean clear, I'm talking about clear path forward. Like, you know what's going to perform, you know what's going to be effective, if you will. Maybe that's the right word. It's going to be efficient and effective. And that oftentimes kind of comes in the same vein as, like, okay, I know what doesn't work. I know what doesn't work. And I have a few things, I have a few threads of where it did work. So I'm going to follow the did works, not the don't works. Okay? And that's what I'm doing when I'm talking about I stop meditating. And just sitting with particular issues, feeling through it, and again, getting to your clairs, clear smelling, clear tasting, clear hearing, clear seeing, whatever, clear thinking. Clear thinking is like a, oh crap, Goodwill Hunting type of thing. Okay? Get into the clear feeling, the clear knowing, which is in the gut, clear touching. I'm trying to remember. I might have missed a few. I think there's like 9 or 12 clears. Okay. So whatever works for you, get into that modality and then start asking that to bring in more information for you. And that's how things will come. Okay. This is how we actually advance as a human species, not like continuously jarring ourselves with our past, but saying, okay, this didn't work. Let's not go back to it then. We know it doesn't work, so stop touching it. It's like the hot stove. How many times do we need to get burned before we're like, maybe we'll stop touching it? And or maybe we'll put our gloved hand on it and turn that bitch off or something, right? Something else. Touching the hot stove. So when you're moving forward, refrain from cookie cutter stuff. Get into your own modality and start doing the things. If you need to write it, what if you need to draw it? What if you need to paint it? What if you need to sculpt it? What if you need to cut glass with it? What if you need to weave with it? What if you need to rearrange with it? What if you need to build an altar? What if you need to mix some herbs? What if you need to